All right, today we are digging into a topic that is, quite literally, the bedrock of any successful construction project: procurement. Now, if you think this is just about ordering some steel and concrete, you are missing a huge piece of the puzzle. We're going to show you how procurement is actually a critical strategic function. So let's get right into it.
First, I want you to look at this number and let it sink in for a second. 70%. Up to 70% of a project's entire cost can be tied directly to procurement. We're not just talking materials here, this is equipment, services, the whole shebang. When 70 cents of every single dollar you spend flows through this one process, getting it right isn't just important, it is the make or break difference between profit and loss.
So, first things first, let's get on the same page and define what we really mean by procurement. Because trust me, it's about so much more than just buying stuff.
You see that word right there? Strategic? That's the key. Procurement isn't a one-off action. It's the entire end-to-end process. You can think of it like a massive, complex puzzle. It kicks off with market research, then it moves into sourcing and tough negotiations, and it doesn't end, not by a long shot, until the very last delivery is made and that contract is officially closed out. Every single piece has to fit, and it has to fit perfectly.
And this brings us to the single most common mix-up out there. People use procurement and purchasing like they're the same thing, but honestly, they are worlds apart. Purchasing is transactional, right? It's the simple act of placing an order. Procurement, on the other hand, is the entire strategy behind that click. It's about playing the long game, building solid relationships, and aiming for total value, which includes quality, reliability, and long-term costs, not just whatever has the lowest price tag today.
Okay, so now that we know what we're talking about, let's open up the playbook. Let's look at the four main strategies that construction firms use to actually structure their projects.
Let's break these down. First up, you've got the classic design, build, build. It's very linear, it's predictable. But the catch? If there's a problem with the design, all of that risk, all of that cost lands squarely on the owner. Now, to speed things up, firms often use design build. Here, you've got one single contract for everything, which is way more efficient. But now all the pressure is on the design build team to get it perfect from the start. For the really complicated jobs, you have CM at risk. This is where a construction manager gets involved early on, giving their expertise and a guaranteed price, which creates a much more balanced way of sharing the risk. And then, at the top of the collaboration mountain, you've got Integrated Project Delivery, or IPD. With this one, everybody, the owner, the designer, the contractor, they're all in the same boat, sharing both the risks and, importantly, the rewards. This is the go-to for the most complex projects where maximum collaboration is the only way to win.
So, what's the big takeaway from all that? The entire industry is moving away from that old, siloed, and often confrontational model of design, bid, build. As projects get more and more complex, firms are realizing that collaboration isn't just a nice-to-have, it's absolutely essential for managing risk and delivering value. It's a fundamental shift from us versus them to we are all in this together. But of course, none of these methods exist in a perfect little bubble. So let's talk about the modern trends and, yes, the challenges that are really reshaping how procurement gets done today.
One of the biggest game changers right now is sustainability. And no, it is not just a buzzword anymore, it's a hard and fast contractual obligation. Get this. 31% of contracts now have specific sustainability goals written directly into them. This forces procurement teams to look at everything through a new lens. What's a supplier's carbon footprint? Where are their materials sourced? It adds this huge new layer of complexity to every single decision.
And the stakes, if you get it wrong, they are absolutely astronomical. This quote really says it all. 20% longer to finish, and cost overruns as high as 80%. These aren't just abstract numbers on a slide. This is the reality. This is the fire that procurement managers are trying to put out every single day. It's a constant, high-stakes battle against risks that can destroy budgets and schedules. And these are the dragons they have to slay every day. A single kink in the supply chain can leave an entire site sitting idle for weeks. A sudden spike in steel prices? That can blow a massive hole in the budget literally overnight. Even a simple delay in getting paperwork approved can set off a disastrous domino effect of schedule slips. You see, effective procurement is the shield that stands between the project and these project-killing threats. So, okay, given all those challenges, how do the best firms actually win this game? Let's dive into the playbook for making procurement truly effective.
Success is always built on a disciplined, airtight process. It all starts with super rigorous planning, way before a single bed ever goes out. Then it moves through a fair evaluation and some sharp negotiation. But crucially, it doesn't just stop when the contract is signed. The best firms are absolutely relentless when it comes to managing deliveries and monitoring performance, all the way to the final closeout. Each step is a building block that helps them maintain control.
And woven into that whole process are the habits of the most successful firms. They set crystal clear objectives from day one. They use technology for real-time tracking. They build genuine partnerships, not just transactional relationships. They get ahead of risk instead of just reacting to it. And they are obsessive about measuring performance with real data. This is how procurement stops being seen as just a cost center and becomes a powerful, competitive advantage.
So, if you only take one thing away from all of this, let it be this. The crucial point is, stop thinking about procurement as just managing costs. Start thinking of it as managing risk. Because the real value isn't found in shaving a few pennies off materials, it's in protecting the entire project from the things that can bring it down: financial, schedule, and quality failures.
And all of this leaves us with a really big question for the future. We've seen the trend, right? Everything is moving toward more collaboration. We know for a fact that projects are only getting more complicated. So, are we getting to a point where these collaborative procurement models aren't just the best option, but maybe the only viable option for success? That's the question that's shaping the future of this entire industry. Thanks so much for tuning in.